Welcome back to Boxing Hideout TV. This is another episode of Fighters That Get Knocked Out the Right Way. We'd like to get this one started today. We're going to get it going right now. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is Boxing Hideout TV. This is your host, Juice, aka Juice 8888 or Juice Berry. Either one depends on how you want to say it. Go subscribe to go register at boxinghideout.com. Get on there and start chatting with these young brothers out there and see if you can keep up with the boxing conversation. Today we have a special edition, or the second edition of Fighters that get knocked out the right way. The first one starred Manny Pacquiao. This one we have a special guest. Let's get it going right now. Boxing Hideout TV. I'm Juice 8888. Thank you for coming back to this video. It's a good one. Today we're going to talk about Roy Jones Jr., obviously. Roy was fighter of the decade. His fall from grace was one of the strangest, most bewildering falls of all time. And the reason I'm saying that is not because he lost. Uh, he had been in the game he was the 88 Olympics, so he had been in the game for 13 years before he lost, in 50 fights almost, pretty much, or over 50. By the time Antonio Tarver caught up to him, he was fighter of the decade, had moved up to heavyweight and became heavyweight champion. And then for some strange reason, he decided, hey, you know what? Let me move back down and weight. And from that moment on, he was never quite the same. Now, one of the arguments that used to go on with Roy, similar to Canelo and Floyd Mayweather, is the when are you going to fight this person or that person or this person, that person? So with Roy, it was a constant, oh, what about this person? Well, what about this person? What about this person? So in 2000, around 2000, he started talking about retiring soon and getting out the game so he doesn't end up like Gerald McClellan, good friend of his, I guess. And so it was uh it was okay. You know, you did your job, man. You conquered the world. You were on top of the world. No one realized how good he was. If you saw the tail end of his career, it doesn't make sense. Roy Jones went from talking about retiring to tacking on an extra 14 years to his career. That would be the mistake. And that would be the one that would really bother some people because no one likes to see their legends beat up and destroyed. I, on the other hand, look at it differently. I look at it as if Roy Jones is no different or special than the Drunken Master. Of course, he accomplished way more than the Drunken Master, obviously. The Drunken Master has probably 30 or 40 losses on his resume, but he was allowed to get 30 or 40 losses. Okay, they were telling Roy to retire after two or three. How come he can't go out like the Drunken Master? How come Roy can't rack up 40 losses? He was getting close. He was making some progress. These fighters started running the train on Roy. They were using his name for clout. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. I think he was trying to get a cruiserweight title. He won some generic ones going overseas, but I don't. No one cared about that. We're gonna take a look at Roy's career of getting slumped. Roy made, I believe that Roy Jones Jr. may be top five ever knockout victims. Actually, if I'd have to go back and look at some of the classic, and I'm not talking about. I leave the tomato cans out because they're there just to get knocked out. Roy really was good, and so he was a. I was a really big fan of his. This the way he played his career out had to be really sad to people who started following him from his amateur days. As you know, he was cheated in the Olympics, and some say they had to change the scoring system for people like Roy in the Olympic system. You know what I mean? So it was interesting. So we're gonna look at some of the techniques that made Roy Jones Jr. one of the best fighters to ever get knocked out in boxing. His technique was flawless. He folded instantly. He didn't put any resistance up. Um, I'm upset because a couple of times he actually tried to get up and then it just. Well, anyways, we're gonna take a look at some of these here right here. Let's take a look at this one right here. This right here was the very first one, Roy versus Magic Man Tarver. As you can see from his technique, he's got. That's one thing I liked about his style is even when knocked out, Roy was cool. It was almost like he was really, you know what I mean? Like he was like getting ready to get up and do something. Like he was asleep and then he woke up and he like, I gotta go brush my teeth or something. But as you see from this right here, he wasn't out completely. This is his first time getting dipped, and so he didn't cooperate right, and so he tried to get up. And so we're only going to show the most important part, how he went down, because ultimately the fight was stopped. But I don't think this is vintage Roy as far as getting knocked out. I think he gets knocked out much better in more classier ways than this. So we're going to go to that first one and we're going to take a look at Roy Jones. It's just a little clip of him getting stretched out. And you tell me if you like his form. I like the way his body moved back. He didn't stumble or anything. It was a clean dipping. Here we go. Let's take a look at this.
Sustained attack against him. And down goes Jones on a hard left hand. And that is the most that Roy Jones has ever been hurt. Only Lou DeVal ever.
See that? There was no stumbling. He didn't hit anything. It was a clean. I mean, he might have bumped into the rope or something. There was a rope there, but it was a clean dip. He got dipped and laid back, and what I mean, he got up. He wasn't out cold. So this one's not one of his best. But we're just getting warmed up with this. We're gonna take a look at the technique right here. So right now you see him right here getting up. See the legs, how they're folded up, the two legs right there, right there. That's almost like he's uh spooning with a chick. You know what I mean? From this technique right here. It's hard to tell from this position that he was started off from his back. Okay, so we're gonna take this one down. We're gonna the most classic one, and this is when I realized that he had some rough roads ahead. He could have retired after the first one, and people would have said, "You know what? You deserve it, man. He had a great career, man. It's been 13 or 14 years in the game. It's a long time for fighting." I don't remember him having these long extended breaks or anything like that. I'm sure he did, but he may have gotten hurt one. But I don't remember him having these long extended breaks. Hence, the ability to get 50 wins in that short of a time span. All right, but when he tried to come back from that knockout loss to Tarver, and instead of going straight after Tarver, he decided he wanted to take a tune-up. So he took on journeyman Glenn Road Warrior Johnson. Glenn Road Warrior Johnson's no journeyman, and he didn't feel the need to pretend that he was going to come in here and roll over. So the most classic, in my opinion, the most classic photo right here would be this one right here. Take a look at Roy's technique right there. Anyone who's a knockout fan has to admire this. They have to admire this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. This is Boxing Hideout TV. This is the second episode of Fighters That Get Knocked Out the Right Way, starring Roy Jones Jr. Okay, now in this classic picture right here, we get to see Roy in all his splendor. Take a look at that technique right there. You know how he landed from this one right here. It almost looks like he got shot with a gun. And he's just, trying to give his last words like, I'll be back. It's not the end of me. Or I don't know what people say when they're concussed like that, but this one right here, look at the casualness of how this is natural. He naturally has swag. Roy Jones Jr. has natural swag. Look at how comfortable he looks. Just look how comfortable he looks in this picture, man. It's amazing. I feet kicked up. It's almost like he's watching TV and someone's just waking him up. He's trying to fall asleep watching TV, and that's how it looks like that to me in this picture. We're going to take a look at this knockout because Roy Johnson is not a one-punch knockout artist. This was an accumulation of ass whooping. And when Johnson was done, we knew the result. It was no coming back from this one. So we're gonna take a look at Roy Warrior Johnson, Glenn Johnson, as he stretches out Roy Jones, and to me, one of my favorite knockouts of all time. I think this one is classic. Let's take a look at Roy Warrior Johnson and Roy Jones Jr. See that? They had Roy ODing on smelling salts. See that? They put them salts to his nose. Said, "Please wake up." He was all right. Like I said, after this, he tacked on another 14 years to his career. I swear, some of these brothers, man, I bet you if you could be a fly on the wall, some of these dudes are like what is sadomasochistic. You know what I mean? These are some S&M type dudes, man. These dudes love pain. He said, man, I could retire right now as one of the greatest and just say, hey, you chalk it up. I'm old. 50 fights, I'm bound to get stretched. It's boxing. I wasn't focused, lost all the weight. He has all the reason to get out of the game, but he tacked on more years to his career. He took some more L's, but we're just focused on the knockouts. Okay. He won some fights too. We're going to focus on the next one. The next time he was knocked out, he went all the way to the down under to see Danny Green. As you see, Danny Green, not the NBA player. This Danny Green is not a 3-and-D stretch forward or forward. He's not going to be hitting any game winners, but he did hit a game winner against Roy when Roy showed up to Australia. Land down under. I'm going to put this out real quick. Look at that technique. Now this was not a good one right here because Roy claims that Danny Green had a bat in his glove or plastered gloves. So I don't know if that's true or not. All I know is he clubbed Roy upside the head, and it was gonna be it was it. But this, like I said, this is the second one where Roy actually gets up. So he actually finishes his fight knocked out, but he's on his feet.
Minute 9, 12 3-minute rounds.
Okay. Just letting you know it was a first round knockout. The referee had to come help him. This is like I said, this isn't one of the best ones. I think it's um I give this one a D. Because if they're not asleep, it don't count. You know what I mean? I'm just letting you know, just giving you guys, getting you warmed up for more to come because it gets worse. Okay? It gets worse. The main thing I want you to focus on is how Roy's natural swag comes through all the time. He doesn't play around when he gets dipped. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're back at it again. Boxing Hideout TVs. Go visit boxinghideout.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go register at boxinghideout.com. Support everything Boxing Hideout. We're about to really take it over right now. We're coming after, especially those, we're looking after these bums. Anyways, we'll get into that another time. All I'm saying is fighters that get knocked out. This is the second episode right here. We're going to go to the third clip or the fourth clip, actually. This is Roy. And once again, he's overseas trying to get his hustle on.
Ну, великолепная концовка. Давай, Денис. Давай. Все. Это нокаут.
He gave him the old windshield wiper, one more for good measure. Like, man, this is for making me train hard. Take one more. What? Let's check this technique out again. The referee, like I said, we're getting warmed up. The first one, you see him go down, but this one right here.
Ну, великолепная концовка. Давай, Денис. Давай. Все. Это нокаут.
More for good measure. The end results of this, of course, is the comfort that Roy has. Technically, in this position, you can tell from the posture of his hands that he really thinks that he's still on his feet, but he's dreaming about it. You can tell by the way he's snoring on the ground. I don't know how many lines of smelling salt he had to do for this fight specifically, but all I know is he needed help after this one. They always seem to have to scrape him off the ground. I like these images though because we're going to go through these images. I want you to see the images, the positioning of the referee. Look at this one right here. This was the one where he was with Roy Roy Johnson. Referee looks like he's about to pee on him. Must have lost some money on him or something in a bet. And this one right here, he's just sitting on his butt. And look at it. He's right here. If you look closely, you can tell he just ordered something from the this food vendor, and I guess they must have been late with whatever it was they're bringing back. Maybe some red vines and some pretzels or something. I don't know. Whatever it was, didn't look like he was happy. I think he wanted his stuff, and someone probably had let him know, "Hey man, this is a boxing match, dude. You're in it." You know, I'm proud of Roy. Roy is a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen in his prime. The extra 14 years to his career, I don't know what that was about. Now, we're going to make sure that we get this straight. He did win fights, he didn't just lose. Okay. In between these ass whoopings were wins. Okay. They weren't against the best people, but he still won. And he had a name big enough to where he was able to keep getting big fights. He would win, and then he'd get a big fight like Joe Kawasaki, Bernard Hopkins. He had those fights too. He didn't win them, but he had them. He had a good pay-per-view against Jeff Lacey. He won that one. Left Hook Lacey. That was when he was dressed up as the pirate. Captain Hook was the thing. Okay. The Captain Hook gimmick. I don't remember Roy being Captain Hook when he was young. That wasn't his name. Okay, that was something they just added for that situation. Now, Roy did have a vicious 5-6 punch hook combination that he would light people up with in his prime. He threw beautiful combinations. But we have to remember Roy Jones was not fundamentally sound. And when your reflexes go, your chin is going to be exposed. And it got exposed a lot. We're going to finish off this. And this, once again, this wasn't Roy's last fight. He finished winning. I want to repeat, Roy won. He wasn't always losing. Okay, he's got way more wins than losses. But we're gonna take this last one. Now, this last one is really savage. Let's just take a look at the picture. You can tell by this one right here. See how I told you he had that natural swag? This one right here, it looks like they're trying to wake him up out of his sleep. Like he's actually at home sleep. Like, Roy, you get up, you gotta go train today. No, I don't feel like getting up out of bed. I don't feel like getting out of bed. Man, you gotta get out of bed. You got stuff to do today. Look at that positioning right there. He's fighting with it too. He doesn't want to get up. He does not want to get up. He's enjoying that rest. And I would think that if you're an insomniac or someone who's always on the go and you don't get much rest and you don't abuse drugs or alcohol of any kind, then hey man, boxing is for you. For all you insomniacs out there, those people that late night people that can't sleep and you're just having a hard time getting to sleep, you should try the Roy Jones plan. The Roy Jones Jr. plan ensures that you will get proper rest. You will be out cold. You will not wake up unless they use some sort of smelling salt to get you up out of that sleep. The Roy Jones plan. Once again, we're going to take a look at that. Look at the coziness of that. I know you insomniacs are jealous. You wish you could get that type of rest, don't you? Staying up all night, you know what I mean? Wishing for some sleep, anything to get some proper rest. Put on a pair of gloves and enter the ring, and you will get the proper rest that you need. And who knows, you may win. And who knows? Let's take a look at this last knockout. This was in Moscow. Okay. That one was sweet. That was number two on my list next to Road Warrior Johnson's. I think I can't tell which one was more devastating. One, he had his legs kicked up on this one, but this one right here, he was doing the like the thumb. You know, in football, they give you the thumbs up when they get stretched out and they're taken out on the stretcher. They always give you the thumbs up. You know what I mean? To let you know they're okay. We're gonna take a close look at Roy's technique on this one, man. I think this is just as good as the one knockout loss to Road Warrior Johnson. I think it is, man. The third one was vicious because the guy gave him an extra one of them. He was like, "Man, take this for the road, man. You know, referee, you're not gonna stop it. Well, fuck it then. You know what?" But this last one, man, we're gonna take a close look. Look at what he does. He gives the thumbs up, but Roy does it in typical Roy Jones cool fashion. He doesn't give the thumbs up with his thumb. He's gonna give the thumbs up with his leg. Let's take a close look. Look close again, man. I don't know if you caught what I'm saying. He was stiff. You know what I mean? Mike Utley style, like he was playing for the Lions or something. You know what I mean? He was stiff. But then there was that one little gesture at the end, what he did with his leg. He just wobbled a little bit, let you know, hey, you know what? Just give me a little rest. Long flight to Moscow. You know what I mean? They paid a brother good. You know, girls partying with these Russian chicks night before, the night after. He needed rest. Roy got exactly the rest he need. And Roy Jones Jr. is one of the best ever fighters that get knocked out the right way. We're going to take one more look at this right now. For all you fans out there that are worried, let Roy let you know, hey, I'm okay.
Mantenendo el ataque.
Man, that was beautiful piece of work. The way he folded down. We're gonna take a look at the Road Warrior Johnson knockout, and then we want you to call in and let us know what knockout you think of Roy's was the best. You don't got to call in; just leave comments or whatever the case may be. But let us know which one you think is the best. We're gonna take one more look at Road Warrior Johnson when he knocks out Roy. One is on the back, one knockout is forward. Which do you prefer?
Uдар.
Okay, that's one. Let's take a look at the second one.
Mantenendo el ataque.
It depends on your preference. Do you like the timber whoa, or the stretch back? You know what I mean? He got them either. You either get you a lean back by Fat Joe or a timber by Paul Bunyan. You know what I mean? It's up to you. Anyways, I would like to thank you all for tuning in for the second edition of Fighters That Get Knocked Out the Right Way. I hope you were able to see the technique that it takes to become a great fighter that gets knocked out the right way. It's not easy. Not everyone makes the list. Some people get knocked out one time or twice, even. Uh, they hung a 5 pack on Roy, gave him a 5 pack of these sleeping pills, and this is what he ended up getting for it. Roy Jones Jr. is one of the greatest fighters of all time. This is no way to degrade what he's done for the sport. He's a legend. He was one of my favorite fighters of all time, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. I still don't understand. Uh, I still don't quite understand the extra 14 years. I guess he was having some financial problems, and that makes sense. If you felt that you were never going to lose, then you don't have to be fiscally responsible because you always feel that you can go back and get more money. But Roy didn't have huge mega pay per views. Okay. He didn't have those until the tail end of his career. Whatever he did to manage his career prior to that, he was sold out the building, but he didn't have the competition. Uh, he didn't have the competition available to become uh, Mayweather rich. Okay, he didn't have that. Um, I believe his endorsements, like with Nike and stuff like that. I believe he had the right endorsements and things of that nature. But uh, other than the James Tony fight, I just don't. I don't recall big uh, shows headlined by Roy, and so that might be the reason for the extra 14 years. But man, it would have been good, in my opinion. It would have been nice to see him either fight one more fight at heavyweight before going back down to 168 to fight Tarver. Um, I wish he would have just stayed at heavyweight. Who knows what would have come? I'm sure he would have got beat up, of course, eventually. But uh, he was athletic enough to circle around a lot of the heavyweights at that time, and so it would have been interesting to see. He would have been at full strength, not weakened by a weight loss, weight drain. It almost reminded me of when Chris Bird went and lost all his weight. He got with that. He got with that white lady, man. She turned him out. She said, "You look better if you slim down. You probably can carry your power and whatever power." Because Chris Bird didn't have heavyweight power, so her thought was probably, let's get you down to weight, and the power that you have at heavyweight, you can bring that down. But he looked like you know, crackhead at the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't right. And he got stretched out in his very first fight. Punch resistance wasn't there. And Roy Jones Jr. pretty much went through the same thing. You can't lose 30 pounds of muscle in 6 months. Okay, it's not the right technique. And he never recovered from that. Once Roy was gone, he was gone for good. Like I said, he still won fights against people like Anthony Hanshaw and people like that. He beat Tito Trinidad, scam of a fight. That was Tito's come back for money fight. You know what I mean? He probably needed some extra money to fix the garage or something in Puerto Rico or something. I don't know. And he said, "Fuck it, let me just come get this easy check." Because shit, Tito had a big ass fan base, big big fan base. Uh, I almost jumped for joy when he beat Oscar. Well, I did jump for joy, even though honestly, Oscar won that fight. I, I'm happy Tito won because I wasn't an Oscar fan, so I jumped and cheered when Tito won the fight. But I mean, there's no one around. I could be honest about this. Oscar whooped his ass. They say he ran the last 4 rounds. Bullshit. Tito didn't land nothing those 4 rounds. Oscar could have coasted, which he did. But anyways, I didn't like well, Tito Trinidad. That's another discussion. I'll talk about that another time. Anyways, this is Boxing Hideout TV. This is your man Juice. I am here gonna finish out with fighters that get knocked out, part two. Sorry for the rambling on. This could have ended a couple minutes ago. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video. This is Boxing Hideout TV, home of the ass whooping, and you are watching the second episode of Fighters That Get Knocked Out the Right Way, starring Roy Jones. And we're out. See you next time. BoxingHideout.com. Go register. Get on there and chat with them brothers. Uh, Boxing Hideout TV, home of the ass whooping. We'll see you next time. We out.